this is my first real, I guess I want to say official ASMR. Now, I realized that the last time I did this, it was kind of at a time that was late at night, and I was really, really sleepy. So therefore, I might have been a little bit loopy at the time that I did it. So I'm gonna actually give it a chance, give it a shot here at doing an ASMR. I still don't have some of the equipment I think that I might need for this, but then maybe I don't. I'm not sure. Mostly because the kind of ASMR that I thought about doing and considered doing is whispering, and generally kind of doing the content that I've done with the video voiceovers, but instead do it in an ASMR format. And so, voila, this is what I have in terms of ASMR. Now, my channel's not dedicated to obviously ASMR. I don't think that I'm in any position to really just do ASMR the way some of my favorite ASMR artists do it, where they dedicate a channel and they have, well, they really put on an incredible put on incredible content. Visual Sounds one is my favorite, followed by, trying to think. I'm actually kind of ashamed at the fact that I don't know the names of some of my favorite ASM artists. Gentle Whispering is the channel, but I think her name is Maria. She is one of the first ASMR artists that I watched. Now, over the years, I've listened to all different kinds of ASMR artists. I mentioned two so far, but there are some guys on here that do some pretty good ones as well. I think his name is Paul Artwork. He does ASMRs, and I definitely get tingles when he does it as well. There are a few others, and if I make this an ongoing thing from here on out in terms of scheduling it, having a specific time when I'll maybe do these, which I haven't done yet. I'm just doing one because I kind of wanted to do an ASMR that was more than just a test, but a better idea of what kind of content that I might be doing, which is, again, similar to my video voiceovers, except it'll be in a whisper. Me doing a whisper effect as I do it. And so, in doing these, I think my goal is that if you listen to any other content and you like it, that's great. But this will be a little bit more, I think, laid back, kind of more. I mean, the channel's already laid back, but I'm saying this is kind of a more, if you put it on in the background and you want to listen to this as maybe you fall asleep, a good 15, 20 minutes of just some guy you don't know whispering in your ear as if I'm telling you a secret. And this secret is that I enjoy ASMR, and I think there are a lot of people out there too that enjoy ASMR and different kinds of ASMRs. And while some people that makes it weird or makes a person weird or whatever. I just think it's something that's neat. It's cool. And from my own perspective, I know that ASMR started for me at a very young age. And before I knew what it was called, or there was actually a name for what it is, the tingles and the experience that you get from, for whatever reason, feeling as though you're kind of hearing something or overhearing something that you can just kind of give it your attention. Because unlike in our daily lives when people almost speak at a volume just so they can hear one another, and when I say hear, I mean actually be listened to, with ASMR, it's kind of more along the lines of the lower you speak, the more intention the person listening has to give. And so that, I think, is kind of the magic of ASMR. That's my favorite kind of ASMR, is the conversational type, I think I want to call it like, they call it inaudible, which that's not what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to say a bunch of words that don't really mean anything. But at the same time, if you put this on before you go to bed, make yourself a little playlist, I would be honored to help you fall asleep by just speaking at random, maybe talking about different things that you might find kind of curious, kind of interesting, and maybe you'd like to think about. Now, in the same sense as the rest of my channel, anything I do as far as ASMR, as far as like this, will never be anything of any too significant or too serious type of content. In fact, I would say, even compared to anything else that I've done so far, this is just really kind of, well, I guess I babble, but this will be like just me kind of babbling, whispering in your ear, and sharing with you ideas that maybe you might want to think about. And as I have said with other content, if you want to share, or you even want to do some whispering yourself, I love whispering. But I will say that there are some kinds of whispering that really don't do very much for me. And what I mean by that is like scratching or smacking or just, there are some things that really don't give me tingles. I do like tuning forks and like those Indian bowls. I'm not exactly sure what I think they're kind of singing bowls or something like that. Those are kind of cool. So I also like skits sometimes. I think those can be kind of fun, where you can, someone will do a character or set up a certain scene or something like a cranial nerve exam or an eye exam or something like that. I think some of the funnier ones that I've heard are, I'm trying to remember her name. And that's the thing with ASMR artists, is that part of the reason I don't remember names is because I'll listen to them for a while and I'll subscribe to them. But usually it's not for anything like super serious, you know? I'm just listening because I'm just trying to relax. I'm not trying to get into anything. I'll subscribe to them, but sometimes sometimes the things that they do I'll like, and some of the times they don't, because they do a variety of different kinds of ASMR. But when there's things that I absolutely like, I'll listen, I'll subscribe, and of course I'll do all the things that help the channel as a person who's consuming their content. But the one thing I will say is that sometimes, and this has happened, some of my favorite ASMR artists, and maybe you know what I'm talking about when I say this, is that you'll enjoy their content for a while and then sometimes they'll just disappear. They'll vanish or something along those lines. And so it can get a little bit frustrating. It's like a TV show that you're just starting to get into, or you're kind of appreciating, or you take for granted is there, and then suddenly it's gone. So, I definitely do my part to try to support, at least in the minuscule way that I can. Like I said, not always have I done that, obviously, but I think when I think to some of the ASMR artists that maybe stopped doing what they did, some of them were really, really good. And so when they stopped doing it, you kind of stop taking it for granted. Oh, I stopped taking it for granted. I'm speaking about myself, sorry. And, it's just like, gee, some of them put so much work and so much effort into these. And it's just like, it makes me sad that maybe they weren't able to continue doing it because life got in the way or something like that. To where maybe if they had been more successful, maybe those who enjoyed their content, and it's not everyone, but had done what they could to support it, like myself, and I'm speaking only about myself, then maybe they would have had more motivation to continue making content. So, I'm not trying to guilt trip anyone, and I'm not making any particular statements. I'm just simply saying that ASMR as a genre, as a category, hasn't always existed, but it's definitely changed and evolved over the years into many different kinds and varieties of ASMR. And some of the people that maybe started it aren't really around anymore. And so I was thinking, ASMR Darling, I think that was her name. She used to do some pretty funny ones where she would do an eye exam, but she would find something wrong with your eye or something like that. And I found that was so hilarious. Or she would pretend to be hairstylist, and she would have an attitude problem with you or something like that. And even though it's supposed to be ASMR, it is, it's funny, there's humor, and that was something that I liked. And like I said, there's been others that have done things. I mentioned my favorites off the top of my head. I'm not doing a script here. I didn't write any down. I just basically decided to, hey, let's try to do an ASMR. And I hope this makes it to my channel, because I don't even know if the audio on this will be acceptable to the point where I want to put it on. But let's just proceed as though that will happen. And so, yeah, this is why I'm here. This is the history of my being someone who consumes content like ASMR and an ASMR artist. And now this is me putting my hat in the ring and deciding, hey, maybe I could try it in my own way. I don't have any grandiose ideas can specifically listen and then use it to fall asleep, well then I think that would be my honor to do that. So that's where we're at. But as I said, when I do these, it's mostly just gonna be me rambling, not too unlike most of the things that I do in life and on this channel from time to time, but this is just more of a talking to you while I'm talking to myself. In essence, I guess it could be kind of like a diary a bit, although I won't get into anything personal or deep in this kind of thing. I might just, I don't know, talk about a favorite movie or show or something like that. Wow, you're listening to my voice. And maybe feel it's like a little secret that I'm sharing with you. Kind of like when you were younger and maybe someone whispered in your ear. And then maybe that was the first experience you ever had with the tingles that come from what is now called ASMR. And I think there's a few different ways to get it. That's one that I just described. Happened to myself. The other is Bob Ross. Bob Ross was a great ASM artist, and I don't know if he necessarily knew it, but he was definitely doing something when, he was painting those happy little trees. And I gotta be honest, I could be laying up, on the couch on a lazy Saturday or Sunday morning, and I don't know why PBS would be on. I didn't watch it very often, but if it was on, I was flipping the channels. I just see this white guy with a huge afro who did great paintings, and he would say things like, we don't make mistakes, we just have happy accidents and things like that. I didn't know what this guy's deal was, but I always found him completely captivating and soothing in terms of his calm demeanor. And so that was where I got my start. And so today I kind of look for the same thing in terms of what I like to watch. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that I don't watch. I mean, any kind of content is take it or leave it, especially on YouTube. But there are a lot of people that I've seen. Some maybe I've subscribed to, many which I have not. Most I've at least given some kind of rating or something to say, hey, I really enjoy this. I think one of the things that I didn't do looking back is comment on a lot of content in terms of saying something positive or nice. And as someone that's now starting to make content, I can see how something like that can be really appreciated. And now some of them are so popular that they get so many comments and so much of that. I think it can be a bit overwhelming, but for me, I just think that anytime you get a chance to interact with people in a really fun way like this, it's really a blessing. It's really something I would say is a fortunate thing to have. And so that's ultimately why I'm deciding to do this as a part of a feature of my channel. And I hope you enjoy it. Hopefully at this point maybe you're not even listening because you've fallen asleep. But until next time,